G'day guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be predicting AFL 2024 Premiership year. We're going to predict the scores and who will win the grand final. Let's get right into it with Sydney versus Melbourne. Melbourne are going to win this game by, say, 10 points. Okay, Brisbane vs Carlton. This is the opening round, so it's going to be really good for an opening round. But we're going to go with Brisbane by 21 points. Gold Coast vs Richmond. This is the year Richmond they're not gonna do that well, but I wouldn't expect them to do that bad. So I'm going to give it a draw for this. This is going to be a drawn match. That's just what I reckon. I just reckon that. So now GWS vs Collingwood. I reckon this is GWS's year. They're going to win the premiership. I don't reckon they're going to win the premiership, but they're going to be a contender for the premiership. They're definitely going to try to get that premiership, but just not get it. So, but I will give it to GWS by 10 points. Now, Richmond vs Carlton. Okay, I'm giving it to Richmond. I'm gonna have to. I reckon the Richmond are gonna do pretty good, but not at the start. But then I think they're gonna do really well at the. I think they're gonna. Okay, sorry. I think they're gonna do good at the start, but then fade away at the end, like they always do. So yeah, but I just think that for 7 points, I'm gonna give them Collingwood versus Sydney. Collingwood by 19 points. I'm gonna give it to them. So the game I'm going to, hopefully. Yes, Essendon versus Hawthorn. Obviously, I am a Essendon fan, so I am gonna have to give it to the Bombers on this one. I reckon, like last year, big margin. I reckon 32 points. So I just think that. So Giants versus North Melbourne. Okay, this is where you guys are gonna hate me. I actually do think North Melbourne will make the 8 this year. With the players they got, but obviously Todd Goldstein leaving, going to Essendon and that stuff, I still think they can do it. I think 5 points North Melbourne win. I think they're going to make it to the 8. I think they'll have like 11 wins and then I'd say like 13 wins and then the rest are losses at least. So yeah, Geelong, St Kilda by far going to win 13 points. By 13 points, so Adelaide versus Gold Coast. So, I was about to say Gold Coast haven't played, but they got the draw against Richmond, which I just think that the top 8 right now is looking pretty shabby. That exactly is not gonna happen this year. I'm gonna give it to Gold Coast. I'm going to give it to Gold Coast because that's just what I think. 7 points, surely it will happen. So now Melbourne vs Bulldogs. Obviously the recap of the 2021 AFL Grand Final when the D's took it out. They absolutely smashed them with a great comeback. But the Melbourne Demons, they will win this one actually by 19 points yet again. Port Adelaide vs West Coast. You guys are also going to hate me from this. West Coast, they have Harley Reid. He's not going to do well this season though, but I think they're going to just pull this one off. It's going to be a draw. Harley Reid from the pocket scores a behind with 2 seconds with like a minute to go, and then they're just going to hold Port Adelaide off, and they're going to win the game. So yeah, Freo vs Brisbane. Got to be Brisbane by lots of points there. Collingwood vs St Kilda. Gotta give it to Collingwood by 18 points again. So yeah, and again the ladder right now is looking pretty shabby. If we had West Coast up there, you guys would hate me. By far, you guys would hate me. So Adelaide versus Geelong now. Geelong just, I think, will win it 1 point. North versus Freo, I actually think North will win this one, and they will win by only 8 points though. That's just what I think. The top 3 could happen. Top 4 not gonna happen. Maybe if you had Gold Coast, then maybe Gillis probably will make the top 4. Okay, Melbourne vs Hawthorn. I do think it's gonna be a draw. Those two teams, they've had big rivalries over this past couple of years. People are saying that's one of the most important games, but to be honest, the grand final or Anzac Day could be the most important game ever. But this is round 2 still. Sydney versus Essendon. I reckon it's gonna go to Essendon by 10 points. That's probably might actually be happening. That could happen, to be honest. Bulldogs vs Gold Coast. Gonna give it to Gold Coast by 9 points. So yeah, that's it. Okay, we've got Richmond vs Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide, I don't think that... yet again, Richmond, I reckon they're going to start off well. So I think they're going to get a 10-point win here. And yeah, definitely. West Coast vs GWS. I'm just sorry. I think it's going to happen. I think the 2 worst teams last year will beat the best team of this year. And that top 8 is tremendous. That is not happening this season. Essendon, probably not, but maybe. Brisbane, yes. Collingwood, maybe. Melbourne, yes. Richmond, maybe. Gold Coast, yes. North Melbourne, maybe. I actually might put North Melbourne up there. They're definitely got a good side for once. West Coast, no, not happening, but maybe. Maybe top 10, maybe. But Collingwood will win this one by 10 points. North Melbourne vs Carlton. Carlton are going to break North Melbourne's streak, and they're going to win by 18 points. So, yeah. And then, now we've got Freo versus Adelaide. Adelaide, they're going to smash Freo on this one. 40 points. St Kilda vs Essendon. I feel like Essendon are going to put in some tough work, but not quite enough work to get St Kilda out of here. I think 8 points by St Kilda. 8 points by St Kilda. They will win the game. So yeah, I think that's gonna happen, to be honest. Port Adelaide vs Melbourne. Port Adelaide by 11 points. Now this is the game that everybody's talking about. Last year, about getting to the end of the round. I think it was like 2 more rounds to go, 1 more round to go, or maybe this is the last round game. But West Coast vs Bulldogs. That was funny last year. I think it's going to happen again, actually. So 4 points, West Coast, it's going to happen. So, yes, I've been talking about it all this video. Richmond will have a good start. They're going to make it 3 in a row, but with the draw. But anyways, they're going to win by 16 points. Okay. Hawthorn vs Geelong. People say this game's really important as well. It always happens at one stage in the year. People say Hawthorn win every game. I think they're going to win it again. 9 points. So, Adelaide vs Melbourne. I've got to give it to Melbourne by just 19 points. Adelaide, they're going to try, but not make it anywhere with the amount of players they have and the players they have. North vs Brisbane, it's obviously going to be North. I'm kidding. Brisbane will win this game, obviously, by 25 points. Jeez. Yeah, that probably will happen. Port Adelaide vs Essendon, yes. Port Adelaide are probably going to win this one, and they will win by 12 points. So, yeah, that's just going to happen. I feel like West Coast vs Sydney, they're going to drop, but they will win 1 game at least this first 5 rounds. 6 rounds if you count the opening round. So 11 points for Sydney to win. Carlton versus Freo. Carlton will demolish them. Like literally demolish them by 61 points. Yes, my opinion. Dogs versus Geelong. I'm gonna give it to the Dogs by 5 points. GWS, Gold Coast. Gotta give it to Gold Coast. I'll give it to GWS. Yes, I said they're gonna have a good season. 3 points. I feel like it's gonna be good. GWS they're not having a good season so far, my opinion. But yeah, that's just gonna happen. St Kilda versus Richmond. Okay, I'm not going to say it anymore, but I'll say it one more time. They're going to have a good start season. But this is the one game for the first, 8 rounds they're going to lose by 7 points. So, Collingwood versus Hawthorn, going to give it to Collingwood. I don't think they'll win the premiership this season. So, yeah, that's just what I think. So 14 points I think is good. Okay, Melbourne vs Brisbane, gotta give it to Brisbane. 72 to 88 points. Essendon vs the Dogs. I've gotta give it to Essendon right now. To be honest, Essendon, only barely though, 3 points. It's a nice 3-point season so far. That's what I think. GWS vs St Kilda. GWS will win this game by quite a bit. 13 points, so that moves them into the 8. I'm just looking at the ladder right now and how everyone's doing and how I think they're going to do this season. I think Port Adelaide's going to shamble a little bit, same as Sydney, Geelong and Bulldogs. They were okay last year, but Geelong not really well, but they won't do well. Carlton will win this match by 11 points. Hawthorn versus Gold Coast. Honestly, another draw. It's another draw for Gold Coast and Hawthorn. They've both drawn twice to 2 teams. Obviously, Hawthorn drawing to, I'm pretty sure, Sydney. And then Gold Coast to Richmond. And that's South Port Adelaide versus Freo. It's going to be Port Adelaide with a smasher, 30 points. So, we're here at Gardenia Park, North Melbourne vs Geelong. It's going to be North Melbourne who wins the game by 5 points. Okay, now that's nothing for me. West Coast vs Richmond. It's gonna be Richmond. It's gonna be Richmond. I've got to say it. I have to say it by 8 points. So yeah, that's just it. That's just gotta be the thing. Sorry about that. What I was just doing. St Kilda vs Bulldogs. I mean, don't worry yet. But anyways, St Kilda vs Bulldogs. Dogs by 9 points. Essendon vs Adelaide. Okay, this is the game where Adelaide is gonna, they're gonna gain momentum and they're gonna win by 7 points again. Essendon is 3-3 for them. They're the only team that's 3-3 right now, but that's just gonna happen. Well, not the only team. The St Kilda. Okay, Collingwood vs Port Adelaide. Enough about that. Collingwood, they're just gonna win 4 points. Carlton vs GWS. Like, there's no talking about it. Like, 14 points. It will be GWS. They're gonna come back this season with a massive W, for some massive W's. Geelong vs Brisbane. I just think Geelong are gonna hang on to a big win over the Brizzy line to the year before last year. Geelong won the premiership. The year after Brisbane are the runners up to the premiership. West Coast vs Freo. Gotta go the West Coast by actually a pretty big margin. To be honest, 23 points. It will happen. Gold Coast vs Sydney. I'm gonna give it a draw. Nah, Sydney. I've got to give it to Sydney. To be honest, they're gonna have a really, really, really tough season, but they will still push. North vs Hawthorn is going to have to be Hawthorn. North Melbourne by 12 points. Yeah, they're just gonna. I reckon West Coast and North are gonna be same as Richmond, and this is the game they also will win. Richmond, yes, by a little margin of only 5 points. Okay, Essendon vs Collingwood and Zach Day. I reckon Collingwood are gonna still come out on top with a win over the Dons by 5 points. There's been some other big wins lately, but it's 5 points this game in this season. Giants vs Brizzy. Gotta give it to Brizzy. 20 points. I know I said GWS are gonna have a good season, but it's just that one game that they're gonna struggle with all that stuff, and yeah, I just think it's gonna happen. To be honest, I think Gold Coast are gonna have a quite a good draw. I think they're gonna have like 4 draws. And that, yeah, I just think that Port Adelaide versus St. Port Adelaide will probably win this by 12 points. Okay, Bellarove Oval, Adelaide versus North Melbourne. I'll give it to North Melbourne, but not by that much. 6 points, because it's gonna be tied up, and then North Melbourne are gonna kick a goal. I reckon it's gonna be Zach Fisher kicking the goal. Speaking of that, Zach Fisher, Carlton versus Geelong. Give it to Carlton, by 5 points, and back to the North Melbourne thingy. Going just because Zach Fisher kicks off the siren to win the game. Even if he scored behind, they would still win. But yeah. Freo vs Dogs. Got to give it to the Dogs. Freo are going to have the worst season that they've ever had. Yeah, it's going to be 9 points for the Dogs. Freo, they're just going to have a stinker of a season. They'll still get some wins, but not much. Gold Coast vs West Coast. The Coast Derby. To be honest, at Carrara, it's gonna be West Coast, bro. West Coast by 3 points. Like, looking at that top 8, it's really, really bad. The top 8, I can see 3 or 4 teams dropping to the bottom of the tables. West Coast, North, and Richmond. Okay, Adelaide. English, please, Cooper. Sydney versus Hawthorn. I've got to give it to Sydney by 6 points. Port versus Adelaide. I think Port Adelaide is another team that will drop to the bottom, but in the Adelaide Derby, it's going to be Adelaide by 8 points. Collingwood versus Carlton. Got to give it to Carlton on that one by 3 points. Sydney versus Giants. Giants will demolish them by 29 points. North Melbourne versus the game. North Melbourne will lose. So 15 points. Yeah, they're gonna drop down now. I feel like this is where West Coast, North Melbourne will drop down. Richmond, they'll stay out for a couple more rounds, but then they will also start dropping down to maybe the top 11, 10, 9, but not make the 8. Melbourne versus Geelong. I gotta give it to Geelong. By 3 points. Perth Stadium. That is off the stadium, not Perth Stadium. We've got, or maybe it's Perth Stadium, I don't know. West Coast vs Essendon. I've got to give it to Essendon for this one. It's going to be 7 points. The difference. The Dons will probably take the win. Freo vs Richmond. As I said, they're going to start falling. But this is another game they start falling. Only by 3 points because of Freo. They're last on the table. I feel like they're going to lose a couple more games. But we've got Hawthorn versus the Bulldogs. I've got to give it just to Hawthorn by 2 points. Just only. I don't know why it's only just, but yeah, that it is what it is. Brizzy vs Gold Coast. Brizzy are going to kind of demolish them. Or they will demolish them. But over 50 points, I'd say it's gonna be 50. It's gotta be 54 points. Cop vs Melbourne. Melbourne will win by 4 points. Port vs Geelong. I've got to give it to Geelong actually. I've got to give it to Geelong by 17 points. Sydney vs Freo. I think Freo will get the W here again. That's just, it is what it is. It's a 3-0, but it's going to be like 3 to 2 points. So, I'm going to say 3 points. Freo will win. Okay, Hawthorn and St Kilda. Gonna say St Kilda. 4 points. Okay, Essendon vs GWS. This is a game where it might get intense, but GWS, I think, are going to take the win by 10 points. Richmond vs Bulldogs. This is the round. I think Richmond are going to start falling. They're going to lose 4 games in a row, regardless who it is. I think they're just going to lose 4 games in a row, starting with a 19-point loss to the Dogs. That's just what I think. North vs Gold Coast. Gold Coast will probably take the W by 14 points. West Coast versus Collingwood. It's gonna demolish them, putting it right up there by like 64 points. It's gonna happen, I swear. It's gonna happen. Adelaide vs Brisbane. Brisbane probably gonna win by probably 14 points. Yes, probably. Gold Coast vs Geelong. Gonna say Geelong by 1 point. It's gonna be a really tough game, those two. I reckon Geelong can get in the middle of the rounds. They're gonna get really good, and then just drop back down in the final 10 rounds maybe. Sydney vs Carlton. Gotta give it to Sydney there. I just think they're gonna come back for that. 5 points. Adelaide. I think Adelaide actually can do this after what they did last year. Only lose by 1 point and 2 points. I just think that. So 12 points to Adelaide. I've got to give it the props. I've got to give Adelaide props for a win. Giants vs Dogs. Giants will win this. 13 points. They're gonna have still a really good season. So Gilda vs Freo. Gotta go with St Kilda. I reckon Freya's going to have a real big fight at the end here. At the end of these games, but by 2 points for St Kilda. Richmond vs Brisbane. Yeah, this is a game. Brisbane will probably demolish them. Probably by 25 points. Okay, yeah, that's what I think. Essendon vs North. Yeah, it's got to go to Essendon. It's just got to go to Essendon. That's just 9. It's gonna be 19 points. Put Essendon back in the A. That's probably what's gonna happen. So Hawthorn vs Port Adelaide. Looking at the ladder here, I've got to say Hawthorn, because like Port Adelaide, they're gonna drop. That's another team I said that will drop by 4. So by 4 points. Hold on, but yet again back to it. I just think that. So West Coast vs Melbourne. Demolishment for Melbourne. 32 points. It will happen probably. West Coast and North Melbourne are going to start dropping down, and that's just a fact probably from me. So Bulldogs Sydney. I've got to go with the Bulldogs by 4 points. So Collingwood vs Freo. It's got a demolishment by Collingwood. Yeah, this was like, yeah, 46 points will be probably enough. North vs Port, it's going to be Port Adelaide, 20-point win against North Melbourne. Yeah, 12th and 13th for North and West Coast. It's going to happen. Round 11, we're still at round 11. We're about almost halfway through. So Carlton vs Gold Coast. Carlton, I'm going to say, by 20 points. GWS and Geelong, this game is going to be really good, and it's going to be a draw. Here it is. This is the match last year. 1 point Essendon took it. I reckon it's going to still go that way, but Essendon win by a little bit more, 7 points. It's going to be after the siren. It's going to be 1 point win. It says how they're winning by 1 point. If he shanked it, it's gonna be the 2 years in a row. But Dylan Shield, not Dylan Shield, Jake Stringer, is just gonna snag it through, and he's just gonna make us win by 7 points. Hawthorn vs Brisbane. I've got to give it to Brisbane there, but not by much. 3 points. I think Hawthorn would put a fight on there. But yeah, St Kilda vs Melbourne. I'll probably say Melbourne by like 9 points. Adelaide vs West Coast. We don't need to talk about it. Adelaide at 21 points. This is again. They're gonna drop down. Port Adelaide vs Carlton. Draw. I'm saying a draw again. I'm gonna say draw again. Collingwood vs Dogs. I'm gonna actually say Dogs on this one. I think they're gonna make the 8 in just that game, but yeah, I just reckon 8 points. It's just what is what it is. Hawthorn vs Adelaide. Hawthorn, I reckon they're gonna have a win, and they're gonna go 7-point win. West Coast vs St Kilda. Yeah, it's gonna be St Kilda. They will do a thrasher on them by 22 points. Richmond vs Geelong. I actually think Richmond will get a win back by 6 points and go back into the 8, but then yeah, they're gonna drop down by a little bit. So Melbourne versus Freo. Freo will lose this game by 9 points, I'd say. Gold Coast vs Essendon. I've got to give it to Essendon here by 11 points maybe, I think. We're on round 11. We're getting through there. We're almost 100 games left, almost. But including the finals games, I'd say we're halfway through the predicting. Okay, so Adelaide versus Richmond. I gotta give it to Adelaide here. Gotta give it. So yeah, 7 points. I just don't think Richmond will make 8. So Brisbane versus Bulldogs. Sorry about the background if you can hear that. Brisbane will win by comfortable 30 points. So Hawthorn, GWS will win this by 29 points. I'm putting GWS up top because I just think looking at their team, not that it's OP, it's just I'd say it's alright. Okay, the 2 worst teams, I've got to give it to North though. North Melbourne would probably win by 3 points, kind of like last year, but add 3 more points and you'll be there. But yeah, it's the game I was thinking that's gonna blow up the whole North Melbourne and West Coast going down thingy. But yeah, anyways, St Kilda Gold Coast, gotta give it to Gold Coast by 10 points. So yeah, Sydney vs Geelong. Let's speed things up. Sydney vs Geelong. Essendon vs Carlton. I'm just gonna do a random margin. Essendon. Yeah, Collingwood. So Brisbane, I'd say by 26 points. Dogs will win this. Richmond will win this probably, I think, and then get back into the 8. Adelaide will probably take the W. So and that puts them into the 8. North vs Collingwood demolishment. Just Port Adelaide, I'd say it's gonna just go to Port Adelaide by a good 1 point. Cover Geelong, I'd say Port Adelaide vs Brisbane. GWS vs Sydney, not by much though. It's gonna be GWS, but not by much, like 8 points. North vs Melbourne, I've got to give it to the Melbourne Demons. Essendon versus West Coast. It was Essendon last time. It's gonna be Essendon again by Just a little margin, like 9 points. 3 of us Gold Coast, probably that. Brisbane versus Melbourne, I'd say it's gonna be a 1-point win from Brisbane. Essendon Geelong, I'd say Geelong will win this one. Collingwood and Gold Coast. I'd say it's kind of a tough game, but got Collingwood win. Yeah, Bulldogs. Another game. This was the round 1 game, first game of round 1. But I'd say it's gonna go back to Richmond, and they're gonna go back into the 8. Like, I'm pretty sure that people say they belong in the 8, but see them not too much in the 8. But so yeah. Okay, now Port Adelaide vs St Kilda. Port Adelaide vs St Kilda. I'm going to say Port Adelaide by 8 points. Sydney vs Rio. I've got to go Sydney. 2 bottom teams, so I have to go Sydney on that one. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Round 16, GWS vs Adelaide. GWS will probably win this one. They go to Hawthorn by 9 points. Or 8 points. Whatever it is. 8 points. Brisbane, not by much. Okay, this game again. I'd say Essendon are going to get another one back and win by 4 points. Geelong vs Hawthorn, I think Hawthorn will win this one, and they're going to rise up, but then probably go down again. 16 points on GWS vs Carlton. Gonna give it to GWS, to be honest. 4 points. It might happen. I'm pretty sure Brisbane, in my opinion, is gonna make the they're gonna make whatever you call it. They're probably gonna get first place on the ladder again. Melbourne will win this one probably over 4 points. Gold Coast will win this one as well by 9 points. Yeah, you see here, West Coast, they're fading, so is North Melbourne. Like, they've got wins and wins and wins, and then it's fading. Like, I think for the rest of the season, North will get wins, but not all of them. I think they'll get like 5 more wins, but still not make top 8. This one's gotta give it to Sydney by 14. This one, I'm gonna say the Dogs in this one by quite a bit too. 3 vs Richmond. I've got to give it to 3 barely though. 6 points, not barely, but 6 points or 4 points there. I'm gonna give it 4 points. Geelong vs Collingwood. It's gonna be Collingwood. It's got to be Collingwood by 11 points. Port vs Gold Coast. I'm gonna have to give it to Port Adelaide. Just by 10 points. Is what I think. Hawthorn vs Freo will probably win. Give a couple of wins at the back. Melbourne vs Essendon. Melbourne probably gonna demolish them. GWS vs Richmond. GWS probably way bigger of a margin though. So, yeah, it's gonna happen though. Sydney vs North Melbourne, I think they're gonna win this one actually. I'd say it. 21 points. Dogs vs Carlton. I gotta give it to Carlton. I've just gotta give it to Carlton. It is what it is. By 3 points, so yeah, Crows would win this one. Brisbane, I think West Coast will pull up the biggest upset of the season and win by 4 points. Holly Reid off the siren goal. It's probably gonna not most likely happen, but in my opinion happen. Well, this is just my predictions, but I wouldn't say they're big of a predictions. We're almost done. We've got about 50 games left. maybe 60, something like that. So this game, I've got to give it to Brisbane by 11 points. This one, North will win this one, I think, by 3, yes. And Essendon's got to win that one by 11 as well. This one's gonna go to a draw, to be honest. This one also gonna go to a draw. Nah, GWS maybe, yeah, by 1 point. Collingwood, they're gonna win this one, not by much though. West Coast, I think they're gonna just win it by 3. Richmond, yeah, they're just fading away, Richmond, to be honest. They're gonna lose this match by 11 points. 3 of us. Melbourne's gotta be Melbourne by 40 points. Port Adelaide, I'm just predicting who's gonna win. I'm not predicting the margin, I'm just predicting who's gonna win this whole thing. So honestly, it's gonna go to Carlton. Yeah, Carlton by 5. Collingwood versus Richmond, it's gonna go to Collingwood probably by 19 points. Brisbane versus Gold Coast. I think Gold Coast, they're gonna pull up a big fight. They're gonna draw, I think. So yeah, Melbourne versus Giants. Giants will probably win that by 11 points, I'd say. North versus Geelong. Ooh, tough choice. Gonna go North Melbourne by 7 points, yeah. So yeah, you see North Melbourne at 9 in 9th. They're probably gonna make the 8 and make like 8th or something, and then they're just gonna drop back down like they always do. Essendon versus St. They're gonna be Essendon probably by 4 points. I'd say Essendon are gonna finish 7th or 6th. So I think they're gonna lose the rest of their games. No matter who it is, I think they're gonna lose. Sydney, yeah, they'll win this one. So will Adelaide. West Coast are just gonna win by 2 points. Collingwood, Carlton will win. Yes, and then they're gonna lose probably, just like in real life. 11 points. So I've just got to give it to Fremantle. I think Freo might actually get out of the wooden spoon area. I just think they're gonna just get the wooden spoon and stuff like that. I think this is the year they're gonna get it. It's not a good thing. You don't win. People would say it's like 3rd place, but no, it's good. I think this one's gonna go Geelong by 10 points. Giants is Hawthorn. Giants probably by 3 points. North versus Richmond. It's gonna go for Richmond by 1 point. St. Kilda versus Brisbane. It's gonna be Brisbane by 11. Yes. Melbourne. I think it's gonna win by 9 points. Port Adelaide versus Sydney. It's gonna go to Port Adelaide probably by 12 points. Okay, Gold Coast versus West Coast, another derby for the coasts. But this one's actually gonna go West Coast by 2 points. Yeah, probably. Brisbane versus Giants. Gonna give it to the GWS Giants. Think they're gonna win that one. Carlton versus Hawthorn. They're probably gonna be Hawthorn. This one, I think it's gonna be a draw. This one, I don't think Essendon are gonna win, but it's gonna be a draw. It's always the same score with the draw, but it's just gonna be a draw. We're getting to the end of the season now. I'm pretty sure it's 24 rounds. Melbourne versus Port Adelaide, gonna give it to Melbourne there. North versus West Coast, gonna give it to North. And they'll make the top 8, but they're going to drop down. They're going to lose the rest of their games. I think that will make them out of the 8. I'm hoping they go out of the 8 because I don't want them to make the 8. But anyways, yeah, imagine being a team with only 9 wins in the 8. And then a whole bunch of other teams with 9 wins in the 8. I think Sydney might actually get the wooden spoon. But anyways, Richmond gonna have to win this one, I think. And yeah, this is where North goes out of the 8. Like, look, there's a team that's not in the 8 with more wins than the team that is in the 8. But yeah, we don't talk about that. Collingwood versus Sydney. Ooh, tough decision. I'm going to say Collingwood by 2 points. Adelaide Bulldogs, I'm going to have to say Adelaide by a big margin. And they will make the 8 right now. So, yeah, right now though. There's only 19 games for the rest of the regular season, but this game is going to go to Freo by 2 points. I'm going to leave this on the Collingwood. This one going to go to Sydney probably. But this one's going to go to Melbourne, yes. GWS will probably win this. I'm going to give this one to I'm just going to give them to Hawthorn. St Kilda will lose this match. This will go to the Dogs. This is going to go to Port. Probably Carlton. This will definitely go to Brisbane by quite a bit too. This one's gonna go to Carlton, Geelong, Hawthorn, Collingwood, draw, no, actually not, Gold Coast by 1 point, Adelaide, we've got 2 games left, so this is so far my currents. GWS will make first, and then I'd say Freo, if they win this game, and they have to win it by a lot, but I think they're only going to win it by 30, but they still get the wooden spoon. This is my Adelaide, this is my AFL predictions ladder. First place is GWS, second place Collingwood, third place Brisbane, fourth place Melbourne, fifth place Essendon, not going to happen in the season, sixth place Geelong, seventh place Port Adelaide, I don't know about eighth place Adelaide, is not what I was hoping, but ninth place Carlton, 10th place Richmond, 11th place Western Bulldogs, 12th place Hawthorn, 11th place North Melbourne, not going to happen, 14th place Gold Coast, 15th place West Coast, 16th place Sydney, 17th place St Kilda, and 18th place for the wooden spoon, Fremantle. So we've got these matches, the qualifying finals, Giants versus Melbourne Demons. This is a qualifying match, so you want to win this one to go straight to the Premier League final. I'm going to give this one to the GWS Giants. Essendon vs Crows, it's going to have to go to Essendon. I just feel it. Essendon will make that. So, but yeah, Geelong versus Port Adelaide. I've got to say Geelong will win that one. Collingwood will win Brisbane will actually, I think they will win. Essendon vs Melbourne, to be honest, I don't think Essendon's going to win the flag this year, but I hope they do, but Melbourne will win. Collingwood's going to win this one and head over, I think, the Premier League final, just like the 2019 Premier League final. It's going to happen 2 in a row, bro. GWS versus, I'm going to say Brisbane are going to go back-to-back finals. Now, this is it. This is who will win the grand final. I think Brisbane are going to win the granny, and they're going to win their 4th ever premiership. Well, if you count Fitzroy in as the Lions, but people would say don't, other than the Brisbane Bears, but still don't do that. But Brisbane Lions, as the Brisbane Lions, 4th premiership in my opinion. Thank you so much for watching this video. We'll hope to give you some more bangers on the channel, But we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.